Dwight D. Eisenhower was the 34th President of the United States. During World War II, he was the commanding general of the U.S. forces in the European theater.
Dwight D. Eisenhower was undoubtedly one of America's greatest military commanders.
Dwight D. Eisenhower was born in Denison, Texas on October 14, 1890.
Dwight Eisenhower graduated from West Point in the class of 1915, the class the stars fell on because so many of its members became general officers in World War II.
He was then stationed in Texas, and there is where he met his wife, Mamie Dowd.
During World War I, Eisenhower steadily rose through the ranks, although he never left the U.S. mainland.
Prior to World War II, Eisenhower was serving with General Douglas MacArthur in the Philippines and was at that time a lieutenant colonel.
Eisenhower was brought back to the U.S. in 1939 by Army Chief of Staff General George C. Marshall.
General Marshall saw that Eisenhower was quickly promoted from lieutenant colonel to major general and had him command Operation Torch, which was the invasion of North Africa in 1942. This was followed by the invasion of Sicily and mainland Italy in 1943 and the invasion of France in 1944.
He was in charge of Operation Overlord, the operation which resulted in the invasion of Normandy on June 6, 1944, the day that we know as D-Day.
Dwight D. Eisenhower was a great political general, which is exactly what was called for to keep the alliance together during World War II.
Eisenhower received a hero's welcome when he returned to the U.S. after the war in 1945. He then served as the Army's Chief of Staff before leaving the service in 1948 to become president of Columbia University.
In 1950, Eisenhower returned to military service when President Harry Truman asked him to become the NATO Supreme Commander, which was a newly created position.
In 1952, Eisenhower stepped down from his NATO position and ran for president. In the November 1952 election, he won the first of his 2 presidential terms in a landslide victory.
He continued many of the policies of the New Deal and FDR and Harry Truman, even though he was a Republican.
On civil rights, in 1957, there was the Little Rock school crisis. The governor of Arkansas didn't want to let African-American children enter the all-white school. Eisenhower sent federal troops to make sure that those students got to have their education there at Central High School in Little Rock.
Eisenhower's foreign policy achievements included an armistice that ended the Korean War, a ramping up of the Cold War where he increased surveillance against communism.
Dwight D. Eisenhower's lasting visible legacy, interesting enough, came in infrastructure. He was the father of the interstate highway system. He also created NASA.
Eisenhower was never known as a great public speaker, but many people believe that his final speech as president was his greatest one. In that speech, he expressed his concern about big business and the military establishment exerting too much influence on America's everyday life. Those concerns remain with us to this day.
After his presidency, Eisenhower retired to a farmhouse in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania with his wife in 1961. He died on March 28, 1969.